Hello everyone, it is teacher Sally. Today's video is going to be about how to tune the violin. So here's some very often asked question from parents students, which is how often do we tune the violin? Unlike other instruments like the piano, which you only tune it for like twice a year, the string instrument are actually pretty sensitive. So they go out to like almost like every single second. They are very sensitive to humidity as well as temperature. So they get out to every single second. And I can't really provide you a number of how often we should tune per day or per year. But basically, every time before you start playing the violin, you have to tune it, or you have to check the tuning of it to make sure that the open strings are on tune. And why do we need to tune this often? Why can't we just play and just forget about the tuning? Because if the open strings are out of tune, even if your fingers are playing the right fingering or putting down at the right position, things will sound very different. I can demonstrate with Twinkle, for example. So now my open string is pretty good. So if with a good open string that's in tune, it sounds like this. However, if I mess up my E string, let's see how it sounds like. I'm gonna play Twinkle again with the same fingering, same position where my finger touch and see how it sounds like. It definitely doesn't sound like Twinkle. So that's why it's so important to make sure that the violin is in tune before we play anything, because we don't want to learn the wrong notes. We don't want to learn the wrong finger position, and we want to hear things that are in tune, and we want to be able to play songs as it is supposed to sound like. So here comes to the part. Very important question about how do we tune? Before we go to what we do to the violin to affect, to change the pitches of the open string, we need to learn the note name of the open string, the name of those strings. So starting from the thickest string of the violin, it's called G string. If you have a closer look at your violin, you'll discover that actually all the string has a different thickness. So the thickest string is also the string with the lowest pitch. It's called the G string. And then next one, the second thickest is called the D string. And then the second thinnest string is called A. The last one is called the thinnest string. It's called E string. So again, from the thickest string, the lowest pitch is called a G, and then D, and then A, and the thinnest string is called a E. It also has the highest pitch. So the thickness of the string actually associates with the pitch it provides. And here comes a little test. Let's see if you remember the name of the open string. Starting from the thinnest string, can you say aloud what is the name of it? It's E. And in the pink one, second thinnest string, name is A. Then come to the blue one, the second thickest string. It's called the D string. And the last one, we have the thickest string and also the lowest pitch. We call it the G string. I hope you got all of them correct. And then here comes the two parts of the violin that actually affect the tuning. The first one is here. We call that the pick or the tuning pick. And then here below, we call this the fine tuners. And then each of these fine tuner and tuning pick actually associate with a different string. So for example, the fine tuner is easy to see. You can see that this fine tuner would associate with the E string, while this one associates with the G string. It may be a bit tricky for the pick. But basically, you could just trace back from the string. So put a finger on the string and slide all the way back to the pig box and see which pig does it connect with. Then you would know which pig would affect tuning of which string. Or you could also remember it this way, that the highest pig associate with the A string, while the lower pig associate with the G string. Then this is the second highest pig would be for the D string, while the second lowest pig would be for the E string. So this could be a way to remember as well, but the easiest way is just to have a look at your string and see which pig it would connect with. And here is an app, is a tuning app that I would recommend using, but basically you can just use any kind of tuning app that is available in the App Store, or even just get a tuner. I usually just use my phone because that way I don't have to carry another extra device around for me. So this is the tuning, one of the tuning apps that I use is called the the tuner. Basically, you just go to App Store, just type tuner, and you can use anything that's available. This one of those. So here comes a demonstration. How exactly do we tune? First, we need to turn on the tuner right here. Turn the tuner on. This is the one that I use. So now it is on. Remember the name of the open string we have? From the lowest to the highest, thickest to the thinnest would be G, D, A, and E. So if you plug the open string with the tuner, you will see that. For example, if I plug the G string, you will see that in the tuner, it appeared the G. And what about the D? And you can see that here's the D. So obviously my strings are now all in tune, but you can see how the tuner works. It would capture the sound of the violin and turn it into the note name that you can see. So that's why a tuner can help. And then the principle of tuning though is pretty easy. So the tighter you make the strings, the tighter the string is, the higher the pitch would be. So same for the fine tuner. The tighter the screw is, the higher the pitch would get. So same for here. It would be confusing if I tell you you should like whether you should like go anti-clockwise or clockwise. But the principle is just that the tighter the string is, the higher the pitch go. The looser the string is, the lower the pitch go. So that would be an easy way to understand how tuning work. For example, this is the A. If I want me to make it lower, I just need to loosen the peg or the fine tuner, which I don't have one here, and then we immediately go lower. With a tuner, you will see that it would detect that A is a different note because it's no longer A. Now it's an A flat. And with the tuner, with the help of a tuner, you can continue to change the pitch of your violin by tightening it or loosening it. So for now, for example, the A is obviously too low. The way to use the pick is a bit tricky. So I recommend that students do not tune the violin with the pick themselves, especially for young students. For young students, I recommend parents to learn how to tune with the pick, while a student would tune with the fine tuner only. So here's how we use the tuning pick to tune the violin. First, always loosen the pick first. Then twist it back. While you twist it and tighten your string, make sure that you push the pick inside the pick box as well at the same time, so that the pick will stay longer and it won't slide out. So like this. Keep plucking your A string so that your tuner can capture the sound and tell you if you are at an A, if you are at the right pitch yet. And then meanwhile, twist the pick, tighten the pick, at the same time, push it inside the pick box. So now it's pretty close to the A, as you can see in the tuner. It's pretty in tune, and you can see the line is right at the middle, pointing right at the middle, which means it's really in tune. So whenever you have something that is really out of tune, use the pick to tune it. But if just for like fine tuning, some final touch of tuning, then use the fine tuner. For example, the E. Let's say my E is now too low, but this like a little bit low. It's just a tiny bit away from the correct E. Then I would use the fine tuner. I would tighten the fine tuner because now it's a little bit low. I would tighten the fine tuner to make it higher. Until I can see that the green light is on and the line is closer to the middle. Then I would accept the C. It's a good E for now. So basically that's how we tune. And if you have any question, feel free to let me know. I will try my best to help. Thank you for watching.